Hey guys, welcome to Robin Hood Diaries. Thank you for joining me. Tonight's topic is a little kind of hard to nail down. The preview was kind of vague. Uh, it said some stuff that maybe implied some stuff. I don't know, but it is a difficult to nail down topic, sort of. I'm talking about transactional encounters, not sex work, and I guess how to define them, the nuances of what they can be. Uh, See, hard topic to nail down. Even judging behavior like that, how would you judge it? There's just a lot for you to decide, I guess, on this one. But I guess it could be called um, doing stuff and getting stuff out of stuff. Okay, so let me help you understand. So one day I'm driving up Laurel Canyon in order to get from West Hollywood area over to the San Fernando Valley. The main way is to get over Laurel Canyon. Uh, Good sized canyon, famous canyon, the Doors song, She Lives on Love Street, that's Laurel Canyon. Okay, so there's this blind turn around. There's only one market in the whole canyon that you can go to and grab stuff. It's a little teeny market, and it's got a blind curve around the market going back up the canyon. So I was distracted. There was a cute guy with a cute ass at the telephone, and I got distracted, and I rear-ended the car in front of me. Nothing major. That did not distract me to the point of endangering the public, but it did distract me. So on that blind curve, I rear-ended what was a really nice black VW Bug. It wasn't 1950s one, it wasn't the invaluable ones, but it was a nice one, and it was vintage. And I crunched the bumper. So we pull into this market. What else are we going to do? There's a parking lot, a small parking lot for the market. So we park next to each other, and he gets out, and he's a working actor. This is the '80s. There were lots of teen rom-coms, kind of dicey, kind of ooh, kind of rom-coms. He was in one fairly well-known one. I'm not going to get into the title, but it was pretty well-known, kind of coming of age, who loses their virginity first type of thing. So he was well-known from that and a couple other films. So I estimate this damage to the bumper like kind of high, because like I said, it's a vintage Bug. We were talking, we were looking at the damage. Very sweet, very nice guy, very understanding. And he estimated the damage to about $300 up to $500 just to replace the bumper and, get everything all fixed up like it was. So I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I'm living hand to mouth in Laurel Canyon, also up on Stanley Hills Drive. He's on Gould, which is right before the market. So suddenly he invites me to lunch, but more of like a coffee lunch, like let's go have coffee and nosh, nibble, a little nibble. So this is at Sunset and Fairfax, which is kind of the upper upscale area of West Hollywood that we used to call the Swiss Alps. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. So we're at this cafe, and it's very flirtatious. It's not like sexy flirtatious, but it's like warm, friendly, kind of knowingly something or other. I was not naive, but it's in my book. I have some difficulty picking up on social cues. So, and plus I'm asking, why is he not pissed off about his car? I mean, we had to drive it there. The damage is staring at us. It was an outdoor cafe looking out on Sunset Boulevard. So there's this flirtation, and then again, I'm like, what am I going to do about the car? Why isn't he pissed at the car? Why isn't he bringing up the car? Why doesn't he? He didn't even ask me if I had insurance. So we have this lunchy coffee thing, and then he invites me back to his apartment on Gould, which is back up the canyon, 1 block before the market. And I lived up from the market, up on Stanley Hills Drive. No, I'm sorry. I had a crappy apartment on Hollywood Boulevard. I had just moved from there, so wrong. I had this crappy ass apartment on Hollywood Boulevard that I hated. But I worked constantly at the time doing phone sex. And so it didn't really matter because I was never there anyway, really. I was just working triple shifts. So so this just didn't add up. This started to just kind of not add up in any way. Not that I was after an equation, but I just couldn't really get it. This is not what happened after you. This is not what happens after you get into a car accident. So he then wants to go back to his place on Gould. So we go back to his place on Gould, small apartment. Um, he shows me around. We at one point we're sitting on his bed in the bedroom, like not making our way there, but uh, well, so that's when moves are made. He made a move on me, and I have a very difficult. I had at the time, again, it's in the book, a very difficult time saying no. Okay, well, no, what that means, mostly. Well, mostly. So I asked about the car. Finally, it's like, I mean, this has got to come up. And he says it's off the table. So I guess lunch in his apartment equaled no $500 repair on his car. So, next. My mom had always been hysterically insane over estate sales. I mean, like every weekend, she would have everything mapped out, a whole list of the estate sales we were going to, and I didn't mind. It was fun. So there was this apartment on the top of Horn, which is right above Tower Records, okay, where I grew up, Tower Records. Just a view like to die for of West Hollywood and everything beyond that. So there's this estate sale, which is just like kind of a garage sale in the guy's apartment. So, case in point, again, believe it or not. So I'm in love with the apartment. It's a studio apartment, and this guy's really cute. And I love his apartment, and I hate my apartment on Hollywood Boulevard. So he's moving to Hawaii. So we get to talking. My mom's like rummaging through everything, taking inventory of what she's going to get and pay for. And meanwhile, he's telling me about how and why he's moving to Hawaii. It's a job thing or something. And he's really cute, shorter guy. So what? And then I'm telling him about how much I love the apartment and how I hate my apartment and I love this area and I, lived at Tower Records as a kid. So he gently, not overly flirtatiously, but kind of smiling friendlily, why don't you come back later after the sale and we'll see about the apartment. Maybe I can put in a good word for you. Story of my life. So, of course, yes, I come back later. The sale is completely over and everything is gone. I guess he was like giving it away by the end or whatever. There's like 2 boxes, empty apartment. Okay, so I agree to return and there's no tour to give of this apartment. The other guy, nameless guy, you would know his name. There was more of a tour to give. There was a bedroom, there was a kitchen, there was a living room, no view, but whatever. Not much of a view on Gould. But Horn Avenue, whoa. So I came back and there was no waiting to make any move. Let's just say that we took full advantage of an entire empty apartment. That's about all I'm going to say. Took full advantage of an empty apartment for a while. So then the putting in a good word becomes more of like, it's yours kind of thing. Like, when you move out and you suddenly, like your friend, is committed to the apartment or whatever, and then it saves them the trouble of having to advertise, and it's a good tenant, knows the other tenant. He didn't know me well, biblically. So this putting in a good word for me turns into meeting the landlord the next day. And again, totally sweet guy, family guy. Well, he had a wife and, well, anyway, kind of not, older guy. And next thing you know, because of the word that got put in, I guess it was a good word. Next thing you know, I am paying the man 6 months rent in advance, which I couldn't really afford. But I pulled it together by hook or crook and paid the guy 6 months in advance. And that was my apartment for the next 6 months. And then I renewed, and I mean, it was just friggin' amazing place. Ugh. Well, you can't say I wish I kept it because it's probably some brand new condo now, but would have been nice. So I had a nice, new, lovely apartment above Tower Records with a beautiful view, and guess what? That nice apartment was just in time for. I met my husband 3 weeks later. So I got to impress him with a nice apartment and that I didn't have, and I would have to bring him to a shithole on Hollywood Boulevard, but I didn't. So I met my husband 3 weeks later. I had my nice apartment. I guess the point is, what was that? What kind of transactional encounters were those? Were they, I don't know, what were they? You decide. I guess this is for you to decide. It's a vague topic for you to food for thought. I don't know. Anyway, it's a kind of a racy subject, and this will be the first of a two-parter, R-rated two-parter that I'm not distributing teasers and previews on this one for others, just you guys, because I love you. And you get everything. So tomorrow's second part of the R-rated double feature, and that one's a little bit racier. So we'll see. Anyway, I love you as always. You know that. You make my day, and sharing my stories. I don't know. You're just someone, or some ones, a bunch of quadrillion ones that escape my mind when I'm talking to y'all. So anyway, part two's tomorrow, whatever. Okay. I adore you guys, and thanks for putting up with me. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.